Welcome to the latest video in my How Cool Is This series of short videos where I show off something that is part of my Geek collection. This is the newest addition to my Geek collection and it is a pretty impressive coffee table book. I don't have a coffee table, but I do have quite a few coffee table books. This isn't the first Zack Snyder focused book that I got. I got this one probably well over a year ago from Titan Books. I actually bought this from Forbidden Planet, and there is a separate video of that, but this is signed by Zack Snyder himself. But this video isn't about that book. This is about this book, which came out last month, I believe. Rebel Moon, Cosmology and Technology, written by Peter Perlo, who also, he wrote that one. So Peter is clearly a Zack Snyder fan. So what we get here is a pretty solid, hefty book. Nice and thick, 192 pages. It is just awesome. Now, full disclosure, I really like Rebel Moon. I like Rebel Moon Part 1 and I like Rebel Moon Part 2. So if people don't like it, tough. Not everybody has to like every single film. But this video is not about the movies. It's about this cool book. So I'm going to give you a brief overview, not a full overview, because I don't want you hitting the pause button and reading the entire book. You can pick it up from the Titan Books website. You probably pick it up from Forbidden Planet and various other outlets, but go to the source, support Titan. And I'm going to put the link within this video, probably around here to be fair, but also at the end of the video and in the show notes. So the book itself, we got a lovely dust cover. So if you want to see what it looks like under this dust cover, looks like the same as it does on the cover. That's kind of cool because sometimes people damage dust covers. I try not to, but sometimes accidents happen. So we have got, let's see, I'm not going to flick through it all because you could just read the book on this video, and that's kind of mean to Peter, kind of mean to Titan Books. It'd be good for my viewing hours, to be fair, though. So we have lots. So this will cover, I'm going to move the camera slightly, so bear with me. So we have a whole bunch of chapters. We've got a foreword and introduction. We focus on the worlds, all the different worlds of Rebel Moon, and there's a whole bunch of those. And then we dip into the technology of Rebel Moon. I do apologize for the spotlight. Let's try and cover that spotlight up a little bit as we go there. Problem is living in the English sort of countryside is it's grey and wet most of the time. So there we go. I will put this back on the old tripod because I don't want it to fall over, do I? So it covers technology. I love these coffee table books because you don't need a magnifying glass to read them. As I get older and print gets smaller, you know, you'll have all those problems at some point. But we're taken into an amazing look behind the scenes of the latest Zack Snyder movie. I wonder who came up with the phrase coffee table book. I'm not quite sure. Good phrase though. Why is it never a tea table or a hot chocolate table? There's the man himself. I've been a fan of Zack Snyder for years. I do like his movies. And for some reason, a lot of people just seem to go, oh no, Zack Snyder did it, let's get him. I don't quite understand that. Apparently he's the nicest guy ever as well. So if you just look at this, I'm quite a few inches away from this book and I can smell that new book smell. I love it. So it goes into all the making ofs, the construction. And this is the first time I'm looking through this book as well. So if I do sort of shut up for a few seconds, it's because I'm just in awe of some of these photos and the designs and stuff. It goes into everything, like the gladiatorial training schools. It always makes me a little bit sad when this much work goes into a film and then you get people online who just watch a film and go, me. It's like, come on, be appreciative. There's so much work goes into movies. There's so much work gone into this book. And there's a whole, I will go through the credits in the beginning because on the front of the book, it's not just Peter. I mean, no offense, Peter, I'm sure you did a lot, but you did have some help with some of these photos. It's pretty impressive. This is just insanely beautiful. And then obviously we've got all the technology thing which I mentioned. So it's going into details of all the battle cruisers and various ships and stuff. Armaments. This is crazy technical. Not technical as in like you won't understand it, but the level of detail that this book is going into is just wonderfully bonkers. So I'm going through all these pages. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm kind of like stunned by this. But yeah, so we have, I'm not going to go through it all because that's just mean. But the book is solid enough that it stands up on its own. Look at that. And it looks very cool if you put it with the other one, because they are the same size. So look at that. That's pretty impressive. So that is like 2 Zack Snyder books that I've got now. Well, I say 2. I have more than 2. Because do you know what else I have added to my Geek collection? I will show you. The novelization of Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. But not just that. Part 2, the Scargiver novelization. Now, they're sort of about 250, 200 pages each one. The thing is, and these will be interesting to read, because obviously the Zack Snyder films are very visual, very stylistic, and there's no slow motion in here, and therefore, you know, you're just focusing on the storyline. And also with the novelizations, which these ones are done by Castro, obviously based on the screenplay and so on by Snyder and co. Usually with novelizations, you get extra stuff in it. So when you then go back to the movie, you can sort of take what you've learned from these books, and it makes the movie even better. And obviously I'm speaking to the people that liked the movie, not to the people that didn't like the movie. I'm sure people in the comments, if you're not a Zack Snyder fan, you'll leave snidey comments. Please don't. This is a sign of appreciation for something I like and something other people like. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be having like a Rebel Moon week with this awesome book. So I did mention other people collaborated with this book. So we've got Peter Apparello, who wrote the book. Photography by Clay Enns. Now Clay, seriously, that photography is amazing. Chris Strother, also photography. And Justin Lubin. So Clay, Chris and Justin, you're geniuses with a camera. But I suppose you've got to be when you're dealing with a Zack Snyder film, because he's very visual. So, you know, you three have done a bang out job with this. But there is another book coming out in June, which is a second volume of this. And it is called Rebel Moon Worm Ex Materia. So it's a little bit different to that. And it's Heroes and Monsters. Written by Peter again, and the photography by Clay, Chris and Justin. That you can get in the US, UK, pretty much anywhere in the world. And if you go to titanbooks.com, you can order that one. Fingers crossed, I will add one of those to my collection as well. And then I'll have 3 pretty cool Rebel Moon books to look at. But this first one, the Cosmology and Technology, is pretty gorgeous, isn't it? I'm impressed. Do you have a coffee table? Where do you put your coffee table books? Do you turn them into a coffee table? That may be why there's a dust cover. I don't know. But let me know. Let me know if you are a fan of Rebel Moon. Let me know if you've read the novelizations. I plan on starting those at some point later in the week when I've cleared a little bit of a backlog of some other stuff. And definite shout out to Titan Books. Not only for these 3, also for that one. I obviously knew I had this book in my collection, but I didn't realize it was a Titan Books release until I checked it a few minutes ago. So it's good to see that Titan Books are Zack Snyder fans as well.